The Riverside Community College District Alumnus of the Year Award was created in 1959 with a mission of recognizing the achievement of alumni who have made a difference in their community and exemplify what it means to be exceptional in a field of work. This year's honoree, Ruben Aguilar, exemplifies why the Riverside Community College District Alumnus of the Year Award was created 51 years ago. He's joining a long list of individuals who have used their knowledge, personal skill set, and life's purpose to impact others around him. As a United States veteran, Ruben has sacrificed much. Deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, he received a Purple Heart after an improvised explosive device struck his vehicle. His Purple Heart and other medals, Global War on Terrorism Medal and the Good Conduct Medal, stand as testimonials to his love for country and his willingness to serve. His love of country is only overshadowed by his love of the community. Returning home, he set out to be a difference maker. After enrolling at Norco College, he became an advocate for veteran students. Through his foresight, he addressed the needs of veterans at Norco College, assisting campus leadership to identify a study and a gathering space for veterans. It quickly became a safe space for veterans and their dependents. He once said that his interaction with his peers and faculty at Norco College gave him a sense of belonging to the campus, and that he achieved many goals he never thought were possible. Completing his studies in kinesiology, health and wellness at Norco College, Ruben continued to cross off his once impossible goals. He transitioned his story to California Baptist University, earning his undergraduate and master's degrees in kinesiology. Ruben stands tall as an example of what is possible through education and the commitment to be a change maker. Today, he inspires others through the power of education and the exploration of physical well-being. On behalf of the Riverside Community College District faculty and staff and the community at large, I congratulate Ruben not only for being selected as the 2020 Riverside Community College District Alumnus of the Year, but for the story he has left us to share for decades to come.
One of the greatest benefits of serving as the trustee president of the Riverside Community College District is participating in this type of celebration. This is especially so when we are honoring one of our outstanding alumni, Mr. Ruben Aguilar. Ruben is a scholar, a true mentor, and a modern-day hero. He served his country in the U.S. Army. He is a war veteran with numerous medals and a Purple Heart. An injury to his arm could have been an excuse to slow him down, but he sped up instead. I understand he sets an impressive pace as a CrossFit trainer. He is a coach, a father of 4, and a proud son of Riverside. He is, as his fellow RCC alum Ashley Thies has stated, a frontline leader that his community is fortunate to have. We all feel that way. For these reasons and so many others, we honor him as the 64th RCCD Alumnus of the Year. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am proud to congratulate him and recognize his success and achievements. Ruben Aguilar, congratulations. We sincerely appreciate your great example and your willingness to serve our students, our community, and our country.
Within my family alone in the Rubidoux area, there's a lot more gangs and a lot more violence that I was surrounded by as a kid growing up. And it's something that I grew up and I saw, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, I actually enjoy getting a nice t-shirt and a nice pair of shoes, and I don't want to be like, you know, some of my uncles that I've seen and some of the cousins that I've seen and some of my really close friends and even a childhood friend I grew up with. Where I'm at now and where he's at now is completely different. So growing up in that environment, it's tough to get out. One day I'm sitting in my senior class and the military walks in and starts telling me all about all the opportunities for school. At that time, I was not the best student. I was trying to just figure out what I'm going to do with my next step in life. And I felt that that was a great opportunity for me to get out of Rubidoux and kind of break the family cycle. So I ended up enlisting into the military in 2004. So I was sent out to Fort Benning, enlisted as an infantryman. And while I was in Fort Benning, I got the opportunity to get an airborne contract. So I went to airborne school, got shipped out to Fort Richardson, Alaska. I got to spend quite a few great memorable moments out there in the snow, and then enjoying the summertime out in Alaska. We did a whole bunch of training missions. So many other places that we went to all around the United States. When we're up in Alaska, we call it the lower 48, but we got to do some really cool stuff. And then I took off into Iraq in October 2006. We were like southwest Baghdad in a town called Musaib. So we were in charge of this entire town. It's a lot more urban fighting, what we did down there. On June 27, 2007, I was involved in a pretty severe Humvee IED explosion. I had shrapnel all over the left side of my body, and I was medevac on site and took it to the 28th Cache in Baghdad. And I spent about 6 months in the hospital trying to recover and get out and normalize myself, and really just trying to figure out what happened. I was real thankful that I had all my limbs still. I was excited about that, but looking back on the experience, sometimes we have that little bit of a survival's guilt. That's something I live with and I deal with every day. But for the most part, I had a great time in the experience in the military. It made me really grow up and mature and kind of figure out where I was going with life. And I got to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great mentors, and I enjoyed every minute that I had in the military. College was never, ever talked about in my house. My parents didn't know about college. They didn't know how to get to college. My family my parents are more like, hey, graduate, get a job, work, and that's it. You know, like this is, we're a blue collar family. Everyone works. We work the 9 to 5, we get home, we relax, and then that is it, right? At the end of the month, we're like, okay, how are we gonna push through the last couple of weeks of the month? It's at the time I'm living in Miraloma, so the Jurupa Valley area, and I found out Norco College is down the street, and it's a sister college of Riverside City. It's a little bit closer to me, a lot more community distance, so I pull up into Norco, and I'm like, okay, I gotta take a placement test and figure out where Veteran Services is, and this is 2009 timeframe, and it wasn't what it is today at all. So I was actually a voice for starting the Veteran Center over at Norco College. When I went to Norco, through the GI Bill, we had to set up a student education plan. So we had to be on a certain education plan for where we were going for the military to continue to pay for our benefits. So I got the opportunity to meet with a counselor, and it was like a blessing that counselor is still in my life today as a mentor, and her name's Dr. Zena Chacon. And I got the opportunity to sit down and meet with her, and I shared my story, like, hey, I'm coming out of the military. I don't know anything about college. I don't know any resource. I don't know anything. I just need some help. Like, I'm trying to get into school to, collect some of my benefits and help my family. I had a family at the time. I had a son, and I was married at the time. So I was like, I need to help my family out. I'm gonna go back into college. And she literally took me under her wing and guided me through the steps. And with the Veteran Service, there wasn't a veterans office there at the time. And I remember her telling her, when we get out of the military, we get briefed that, hey, all you have to do is go to the college, and there's gonna be a desk sitting there, and there's gonna be a veterans rep, and they're gonna tell you everything you need to know. And there was 3 other veterans, a friend of mine I grew up with and my brother. We all kind of got out at the same time trying to get into college. And we ended up meeting with the president of the college now, Dr. Monica Green, over a conference call. And we were like, how can we get some help with getting our benefits? Is there a veteran resource center here? Is there a certified official here? And after that meeting, things started rolling really fast. We got our own little office, our own little cubicle. I actually started working there as a student employee. So I got a work-study program. It was really cool. I was excited for that. And I got to see the Veteran Services really grow. And today it's amazing over there at Norco. And that's when I was introduced to Puente, being a first-generation college student, coming from a historically low-income community. Like I said, I didn't know much. I didn't even know how to get in it. I remember taking the placement test into college, and I tested into a class called, it was 60A, English 60A, and that was sentences to paragraph. So that was really it gives you a good picture of who I was in high school, that I didn't even know how to write a paragraph. Like I didn't even know how to properly write a sentence. So I had to start there. And it took me 3 English classes just to get to English 1A. And because of that, I remember Dr. Chacon saying, when you're ready for English 1A, you're gonna enroll into the program called Puente. You talk about somebody who had a lifelong impact on me, I'm gonna give it all to David Mills, by his approach to the class, his approach to the material, his approach to all of us being in Puente, and understanding where some of us come from and some of the struggles that we face, and not really having that support at home like some other kids do. Like some of the other kids do have. I didn't have that support. I couldn't ask my parents, hey, how do I write this? And Mills took the time to sit with us and work with us and break everything down so that we can become better writers and push through English 1B and then on to the college level when I transferred to the university. So my first semester in Norco College, I was in a math class, and she's still a professor there today. Her name's Janet Fearing. And I was a year out, or like 8 months out of the military. But before that, it was like 4 months I was out of the hospital. So I was like still back in Iraq and still that military mindset. And I was facing a lot of different things coming out and trying to be a civilian, just coming back from war and dealing with what I dealt with. During that time, the first like month or a month and a half, I don't remember, but my dad had passed away. So my dad was fighting stage 4 cancer out of nowhere. It's October, he gets diagnosed. December 6th, he dies. And I'm in the fall semester and I'm like, whoa, or winter, I don't remember where it was, but I was like, I'm done. Like everything is bad. It's just going negative for me. Like I'm not ready for school. I can't mentally focus on school. I have way more other things that are a little bit at the top of my list to take care of. So school's not for me. This is the first semester that I get into there. And I remember going to drop my classes, and I went to my 60A class. I don't remember her name, but I walked inside there. I'm like, hey, I just lost my dad. I'm gonna drop the class. And she was like, okay, cool. Signed the paper and I dropped. I was like, perfect, this is gonna go well for me. I walk over to my math class and Janet Fearing's up there teaching, and I interrupted the class and I was like, hey, I have to drop the class. I lost my dad. And she stopped the class. She took me out to the steps that I actually teach in now as an instructor, and I walk up those steps every single day. And she stood there right in front of me, and I remember standing on the lower step and kind of looking up to her. And she's like, what happened? I started telling her my story and what happened. And she's like, you need to stop. Like, just get out of that mindset right now. And kind of like getting on me, but in more of a like of a loving way. It felt like let me hold you type thing, but she wasn't doing that. But it felt like that. So she's just explaining to me like her story. And she had a very similar story of losing her mom. And she's like, what I ended up doing to push me through is dedicating my educational career to my mom. So you need to do the same for your dad. And I'm like, wow, no one's ever like addressed it to me like that. I went in, I told my mom like, hey, I'm dropping school. And she was like, okay, like we have a lot of things to do. And Janet Fearing actually took the time to like tell me, she was like, you're not gonna stop. You're gonna keep going. You're not stopping. I don't care. I'm not signing that paper. You're staying in the class. And I did. I stood in the class and I went back to that English teacher and said, I'm not dropping. I stood in the class. I kept going. Yeah, I love Norco College. I love the staff and faculty because they've played a major role in my life. I just felt like Norco really took the time to understand the students. So there's a lot of students that we interact with and we see. And we, a lot of us are teaching 6 classes. So we have a lot of students. And when I was there as a student, on the student side, I really felt that caring and that empathy and that humanizing of, man, they're just like me. These people, like there's nothing, they're no better than me. They're not any different than me. They just went to school and I can do that. And they made me feel, it's kind of like that. They gave me hope so that I can really think like I can really have a future, because without hope, we can't have that future. And I felt that at Norco, especially there's a lot of professors that really gave me that feeling of hope. And And that's what I took on with me going into my bachelor's, and now that's what I want to bring back now is really as a professor, I'm going to humanize myself and share my stories with my students to let them know, like, I'm not any better than you and I'm not different than you. I look exactly like you, and I may have gone through maybe a little bit more struggle than what you go through, or we're on the similar page of struggles, but if I can do it with my story, you guys can do it. And I really want to have that impact. I work with a nonprofit organization in Rubidoux, giving back to underprivileged youth. And I'm back there because that's where, once again, I come from. And I'm sharing my story with these kids at Einar Arbuckle, at Mission Middle, at Rubidoux High School, and I'm saying, hey, I was in the same position you guys were, and look where I'm at now. Look where I'm at now. So my mom thinks I'm a doctor. Like, she tells everyone I'm a doctor. I'm like, Mom, I'm not a doctor. You know, I teach, but you know, so far I have a master's degree. But to my mom, it's like, my son's a doctor. You know, like, so yeah. I mean, that's what I try to give back to my students now, is really like just humanize myself and let them know, like, I'm just like you guys, and I want to help you through each step of the way. I want you to learn the transfer process. I want you to take advantage of the different resources that the college have to offer you guys. Take advantage of that. Coming from that cultural perspective, it's more looked on as like a, you know, like a masculinity thing. Like, oh, you know, my dad always said, don't ever ask for help, you need to figure it out. So bringing that mindset into college is not something that we want to do. We want to be able to, like, I need help with this, I need a tutor, I need assistance, instead of looking at, like, you know, it's not manly of me, or it's frowned upon in our culture. Like, you guys don't ask for help, you need to figure it out. So that's one of the things that I try to express to my students, to let them know, like, it's okay. It's okay to come talk to me. It's okay to go get resources. It's okay to have a tutor. Let's do this. Let's do it together as a team. It takes a community to do this. I had the opportunity through a student internship program when I was in my master's to come back and do student teaching under the guidance of Beverly Weimer. And I got to spend a year with her as a student teacher, and I had the opportunity to go into the part-time sector, and I enjoyed that. And then over this pandemic, the Beverly actually retired, and her position opened up, and I applied for it. And you know, just with my fingers crossed and with hope, it was like, if this is for me and if it's the right timing, I'm ready. But if not, it's okay, because this is not the last time you're gonna see this face on this application. So I ended up putting in my application, and I met with a couple people to try to, you know, really get that confidence, because I didn't have much confidence, let alone apply for a full-time spot. It's hard for me to still even accept and think that it's true based on my past and where I come from. But I had some great people talk to me and really say, like, you're a great candidate for this. You're a great person. You have that will, that dignity. You have the experience now. Just go for it. Go through the experience and see what happens. And we'd be lucky to have you too. I was also teaching at CBU as well. To me, it's still like a dream. You know, I'm still like waiting to wake up. The semester just started. This is my first semester as full-time faculty. I'm so excited. My family's excited. My wife, my kids, and yeah, my long-term goal is really to put a big impact inside my community, and still work with the nonprofit, give back to my community, and share college with some of those students. I don't really blame the community. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame my family or anyone else from that community. I think everyone's just trying to figure out life and how to get ahead. And you know, sometimes it's mom and dad are working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on and the roof overhead and feed us. So education really wasn't at the forefront. So if I can be that voice for those students and those kids, when I can go and do a speaking at an assembly or something and share my story with them, then that's what I want to do. And I want to impact all these kids in my community. I personally made a change in my family, that now there's 4 others of my little cousins that joined the military because of us. I have cousins graduating with bachelor's degree and associate's degree, and I always get that phone call, how do I do it? Where do I go? Because it's still like that in my family. So I was able to break the cycle and show, you know, even my own family members, like, hey, we can do this. Let's all do it together. I'll help you guys. I'll direct you to the right spot. But I don't want to just do it for my family. I want to leave an impact on my community and also at Norco with those students.
Seeing him from getting out of the military, coming to Norco College, from the ranks of students to part-time faculty to full-on faculty. It's just amazing. He's a natural leader and naturally loves to help people. So I think that him receiving the Alumni of the Year award is just perfect fit for him. Well deserved.
Ruben, on behalf of Norco College, congratulations for being named the 2020 RCCD Alumnus of the Year. We are so proud of you and the journey you took to get here. Assistant Professor Aguilar, I'm especially delighted that you're returning to your alma mater, Norco College, to teach. Thank you for paying it forward and for your commitment to transforming the lives of our students. Your story is a testament of the mission of Norco College. You exemplify what it means to be a Mustang.